Welcome back to Heal and Learn, where my name is Dr. Michaela Andrian, and we are talking about applied channel theory right now. We are going through the Shao Yin channels today, and we're going to talk about the heart and the kidneys and how these two together make up the Shao Yin and how they're interacting and what they're doing and all of that. I hope that these YouTube videos have been beneficial for you, and if you have any questions, please reach out. After this video of the Shao Yin, we'll talk about how this can start to build more trusses and go from there. So, jumping into this, and unfortunately, I don't have my PowerPoint today. So, I'm just going based off of my true raw notes rather than a pretty slide. So, it is what it is. Okay, so Shao Yin, its main function is going to be regulating physiology of fire. So what this is really going to be entailing is how, again, we have all of our temperatures and our pathogenic cold, dampness, dryness, heat, wind, fire. Well, Shao Yin, that pathogen will be fire. Okay, and so if you think about how the channels have been bracketed up, they're opposites. So Shaoyin is fire, Tai Yang is cold. So Tai Yang being the most yang channel, it likes the heat, and if it's too cold, then it's pathogenic for that. Vice versa, Shaoyin is going to be this fine balance of the heart being hot and the kidneys being cool, and so those two need to always be balancing each other out. But ultimately, if there's too much heat within Shaoyin, lots of different pathogens and symptoms will occur. So, the Shaoyin is going to be regulating the exterior environment of the body along with the Tai Yang and the Tai Yin. I think we went totally in depth with the temperature regulation of the Tai Yang. Did we talk about how one of the ways that the body can be controlling the temperature of the body is by urinating? And if you urinate long, profuse, clear pee, then that would be a way of like flushing out the fluids so then your body can stay warmer. So typically, if you have long, profuse, clear urine, that would be a yang deficiency. And so that's why your body's pushing out all the fluids to just stay able to warm up the main organs. Or your body could be having a net volume of water, because Tai Yang was all about the water regulation, right? And so, with that being said, then if your body was too cold, then it could increase the water temperature to maintain balance throughout everything. So, I'm just reiterating all this because the Shao Yin is also going to be regulating the outside environment of heat, the inside environment of heat, and depending on this duality of the heart fire and the kidney water, those two will constantly be balancing each other out. And so, whatever your body's needs are, it'll go between those two and help balance it out. And with the heart kidney disharmony or the Shao Yin imbalance, then with all of this, we can be pulling in Tai Yang, even Tai Yin, to be helping us balance different aspects of this, but ultimately, the kidney fire is also present, and so that would be our Mingmen fire or our essence and our Jing, and so that's going to be playing a large role along with our heart fire as well. So overall, if you see somebody who has a lot of fire in them and it's pathogenic fire, using the Shao Yin would be a great option to be clearing all the pathogenic heat out of the body. And Shao Yin pairs perfectly with Tai Yang, and we'll show that trust here in a little bit. And so with that being said, doing that 4-pair truss would be fantastic to move all of the coldness, the heat, balance it all out through the water metabolism, and bada bing, bada boom. The Shao Yin is also going to be a big part of the source of metabolism. So this goes into like the whole Jing aspect I feel like this video is a little bit different on how I've laid it out because I've talked about, the Shao Yin and then what the heart does, what the kidneys do. This one is just so intertwined. It really is. So if it starts to feel a little unsequenced, it is what it is. And especially since I don't have my PowerPoint to be truly guiding me through everything, we are just going with it. So the metabolic fire is also going to be stemming from your essence. So that is your prenatal essence and your chi. Another way that this is going to be regulating physiology of fire is through the beating heart. And so that could also help be dispersing everything throughout that as well. Another factor of the Shao Yin is going to be the refined nourishment of the prenatal qi along with the movement of blood. So movement of blood, of course, is going to be coming through the heart. Prenatal qi is, again, our essence, so that's all coming in through there. And the refined nourishment aspect is talking about how all of these, how both of these organs or this channel is actually affecting the three burners. So our heart is in the upper jiao, and then it's going to be moving and connecting with all of them. Kidneys technically lie in the middle jiao, but they work in the lower jiao. So there's different textbooks will actually call out different burners of where the kidney is actually working versus where it's housed. Versus the heart is housed and is working in the upper jiao. Water of the kidneys is then being steamed up by the Mingmen fire. That water is cooling the heart, and then as the water stays there, it then will just burn up and dry on that. And so it's just like this little system of coming and going. So with all of that, that is also going to be fluids going through all three burners. The Shao Yin is the pivot. So going back to the refinement of nourishment, so Tai Yin is bringing in food and oxygen through our spleen and our lungs. And then what that is going to do is it's going to be giving intercellular baths with all of this qi that the spleen has made from our food along with our breath to then be dispersing it. And then our essence and our Shao Yin is going to be doing this refinement on another level, less broad than what the Tai Yin does, and it's going to be really focusing on the regulation of prenatal qi and the movement of the heart. And then all of that at the Jue Yin level, there is more movement, but it's just less, and it's going to be brief. And so we'll talk about that next. My little line, we're just following the videos, right? So Jue Yin will be next week's video. And so ultimately, Shao Yin, while we know that it does so much and it's so important on so many different aspects, when we're really talking about how to be using it in applied channel theory, it's going to be refined nourishment and movement of the heart along with clearing heat. So it's relatively simple. There are some few aspects that we should differentiate right now, especially as we go into the Jue Yin video soon, is one of the aspects of differentiating between the heart versus the pericardium. So the heart is known as the sovereign fire. Usually people would notice symptoms of their heart being like a conductivity issue. So the heart is, again, our life force along with our kidneys. And so if there's a conductive issue and it's not beating, then that's a life issue, right? Compared to the pericardium, that's more of like the problems with the blood or like the vasculature. So our coronary artery would be our protectiveness. We have a coronary artery, and so this plaque is being built up so it doesn't go into the heart. So the pericardium has used the arteries as a protective layer into the physical organ. So in that aspect, it's still aligning with like the protectiveness, but it's a little bit more than just the sac that the heart is in. Okay, and then quickly just going through the functions of the heart. I'm going to just be reading this out of Applied Channel Theory in Chinese Medicine. I love this book. So the heart is the emperor. It's going to be holding the issue of the spirit, issuer of the spirit. It's going to be functions of the heart. So it's commanding the blood vessels. So again, at this point, we've had. Um, so at this point, the spleen has made our blood from our food, and then the blood goes into the liver. The liver is storing it. Then we need to get to the heart. So, what will happen is the pericardium and the liver will communicate saying, hey, we need blood here. We send it to the heart. And so then the pericardium allows the blood to come into the heart. And so those are the organs being involved in the movement of blood. And so when we talk about the commander of the blood vessels, the heart is in control of all the blood vessels as well. It stores the spirit, which is the Shen, which we can see the Shen on our face, on our eyes, and it would be, we have color, vibrancy, things like that. It opens up to the tongue, and so that'll be the tip of the tongue, and so you can see if it's split or if it's cracked, that there's some dryness, maybe some insomnia, some heat, which we could be using Shao Yin to now clear the heat, and you could see a change with that. And that is the functions of the heart. And the functions of the kidney, there's a lot here. The kidney holds the orifice. The kidney holds the office of forceful accomplishment and issuer of the wondrous talent. And so the kidney stores the essence. So the essence is going to be the Jing. That's our inheritance of who we are and how we work. It governs the bones, it stores the will. So if people don't have willpower, we could be tonifying the kidneys to help support that. And then it also opens out to the ears. And that is that. Oh, and then, of course, the kidneys also have the gate of vitality through that Mingmen fire. And so we want a slow burn of that Mingmen fire. If it goes too fast and we're too excitable and we've lived life way too quickly in our life, then that fire is going to burn out. Versus if we just slowly maintain it, then we will live a long, healthy life. And if we don't have enough fire, then we can have a lot of different needs, and maybe we won't reproduce, maybe we won't have strong, healthy bones. All of the other things that the kidneys affect would be affected if the Mingmen fire was not a strong burning fire. Okay, let's talk about a truss between the Shao Yin and Tai Yang.